Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I used to think letting go was the hardest thing a man could do. Turns out, watching someone you once loved walk towards someone else with a smile she never gave you anymore, that's harder. Much harder. I met Claire when I was 26, working long shifts at a construction firm, and living on cheap takeout. She came into my life like warm sunlight through a cracked window, unexpected, gentle, steady. For 4 years, she was the one constant in my messy, beautifully chaotic existence. Or at least, she used to be. But one evening in early November, everything changed. I remember the cold hitting my face as I stepped out of my truck, carrying the small bouquet she always liked, white tulips. Claire hated roses. She said they were predictable. That detail always stayed with me, the kind of small thing you only remember when you're in love, or once were. Her car was in the driveway. The lights inside the house were on. But the moment I stepped onto the porch, I felt something was wrong. Not loud like a slammed door, but quiet like a breath held too long. Inside, she was standing near the dining table, phone in hand, not smiling, but not unhappy either. A strange neutrality on her face. "You're home early," I said, try and make it sound casual. She nodded, her expression unreadable. "We need to talk, Ethan." Those words, 6 syllables that can break a man faster than any accident on a construction site. "Okay," I replied, setting the tulips down carefully, like they were fragile enough to explode. She took a slow breath, eyes lowering for a moment, then finding mine again. "I've been seeing someone." For a second, I didn't react. Not because I didn't understand, but because my brain refused to translate her words into reality. "What?" I asked quietly. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't plan for this to happen." There was a lot I could have said. I could have shouted, could have begged, could have asked why or when or what I did wrong. But the truth, the bitter truth, was that I already knew the answer. She'd been drifting for months, laughing less, touching less, talking less. Our conversations grew shorter, while her phone time grew longer. And deep down, I had felt this coming like a slow, quiet storm. "Is it serious?" I finally asked. She looked away. That was my answer. I nodded, swallowed hard, and stepped back. "All right, I won't make this harder for you." Her eyes widened, not with guilt, but with surprise. Maybe she expected anger or heartbreak. Maybe she expected me to collapse. But I didn't. Something inside me shut off, like a switch thrown by instinct. "Ethan, I didn't want it to end like this," she whispered. "It ended long before this," I replied, and even I was surprised at the softness in my voice. 15 minutes later, she packed a few essentials, said a quiet goodbye, and left. Just like that. For years distilled into a pale, awkward goodbye at the doorway we once kissed under. After she drove away, I sat on the living room couch staring at the tulips. They look ridiculous now. Hopeful flowers in a hopeless moment. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I didn't even move for a while. I just existed. Quietly. Over the next few days, I returned to work, went through motions, for a small talk with co-workers who didn't notice anything wrong. Nights were worse. Silence has teeth when you're alone. 2 weeks passed. Then 3. I deleted her pictures, returned her things, and convinced myself that life was moving forward. I even started jogging again, something I'd stopped doing when our relationship began to feel heavier. People kept telling me, time heals, but they never mentioned how long those nights feel while you're waiting for time to do its job. Then, sometime around the 4th week, something unexpected happened. A message from her. Just one line. "Can we talk?" I stared at the screen for a long while, unsure what I felt. Anger? Curiosity? Dread? Maybe all of it. Part of me wanted to ignore it. She had chosen someone else. She had made her decision. I owed her nothing. But another part, the stupid, loyal human part, wanted to know why someone who left so confidently was coming back now. I didn't reply immediately. I waited until next morning when the sun broke through the blinds and painted the room with a soft, golden light. It felt like the kind of day where truths reveal themselves, whether you want them to or not. So finally I typed, "Okay, when and where?" Her response came quickly. "Tonight, at the place where we first met." And just like that, the past I thought I buried showed signs of life again. The cafe where we first met hadn't changed much in 4 years. Same soft yellow lights. Same uneven wooden tables. Same chalkboard menu, with the daily special written in handwriting too fancy for the simple sandwiches they served. What had changed was me. Or maybe it was everything except the cafe. I wasn't sure. I arrived 10 minutes early, partly out of habit, partly because I needed a moment to steady myself. I sat near the window, facing the door, the same spot I had been sitting the first time Claire walked in wearing a navy sweater, and that smile that could disarm anyone. When she arrived, she wasn't smiling. Her hair was slightly messy, her eyes red around the edges, as if sleep had been a temporary visitor lately. She spotted me, hesitated, then walked over slowly. "Hey," she said softly. "Hi." I kept my voice even. She sat across from me, folding her hands in her lap. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence wasn't suffocating, but it wasn't comfortable either. It was a silence of two people standing on ground that used to be familiar but was now unsettling. "Thank you for coming," she finally said. "I figured you wouldn't message me unless it was important." She nodded, looking down. "It is..." I waited. She let out a shaky breath before speaking again. It didn't work out. With him. I didn't react, not even a blink. I stared at her, expression neutral. "I'm sorry to hear that." Her eyes lifted quickly. She wasn't expecting that answer. "You don't sound surprised." "I'm not," I said. "You and I both know you were trying to fill a void, not build a future." She swallowed hard. "Maybe you're right, but that's not why I asked to meet." "Then why?" She pressed her lips together, gathering herself. "I made a mistake, Ethan. A big one. I walked away from someone who actually cared about me. I thought I needed excitement, attention, something new. I thought he'd make me feel alive again." Her voice cracked at the last sentence. I leaned back, letting her words hang in the air. "You deserve someone who chooses you every day," I said quietly. "You know that." "I know," she whispered, "and I threw that away." "Yeah," I replied. "You did." She looked like she'd been hit. Her fingers trembled slightly. "I can't go back and change what I did, but I miss you. I miss the way things were with us. And I was hoping maybe we could try again, start over, if that's something you would want." The thing is, a month ago, if she'd said that, I might have jumped at the chance. I might have ignored everything she had put me through, but something had shifted in me after she left. Something I didn't fully recognize until this moment. "Claire," I said gently, "we can't rewrite what happened." "I know," she murmured, "but people make mistakes. I'm trying to make things right." I studied her closely. She wasn't lying. She wasn't manipulating. She was hurt, lost, maybe even regretful. But regret doesn't guarantee change. Regret just means the consequences finally arrived. "Tell me something," I said. "If he hadn't left, would you have come back?" She froze. Her silence was the answer. I nodded slowly. That's what I thought. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she blinked them away quickly, trying not to fall apart in a public cafe. "Ethan, please," she whispered. "I'm not asking you to forget anything. You want comfort," I interrupted softly. "Not me?" That broke her. A tear slipped down her cheek, and she didn't wipe it away. She just looked at me, broken, remorseful, vulnerable, the same vulnerability I once tried to protect. But now, it didn't stir the same instinct in me. "Claire," I said again, voice steady, "I loved you, truly, but love needs loyalty. And the moment you left, you showed me where your loyalty stood." "I know," she said between trembling breaths, "but I'm here now." "Because he walked away," I said, "not because you realize my worth." Her face twisted with pain, a pain I didn't enjoy, didn't hate, didn't wish for. It was just reality. "I'm not angry at you," I continued. But I'm not the man you left behind. I learned something after you walked away. She looked up, eyes wet, waiting. I learned that losing someone who doesn't value you isn't really losing. She covered her mouth, trying to hold in a sob. I stood up slowly. I hope you find peace, Claire. I really do. But whatever we had, it's already gone. Ethan, she whispered, voice barely holding together. Please don't go. I paused, meeting her eyes one last time. There was a time when those eyes were home. Now, they were just a memory. Goodbye, Claire, I said gently but firmly. Then I walked out of the cafe. The cold wind hitting my face like a quiet reminder. Sometimes the person who returns is the test, not the blessing. And this time I didn't stay. I didn't break. I didn't look back.